Right, guys. So this is 8th January. This is the first doubt session. And in the doubt sessions, we will be focusing on the questions which we have seen in the week, the practice questions, and whatever questions we have seen so far till date, we will be taking up in the doubt sessions. Also, unless all the techniques are covered, and unless all the practice questions for the first month of January, the focus is on multi-statement questions. So by 30th of January, all the different varieties of questions and techniques, etc., everything will be covered. And then 15 days you will have, wherein I will not be giving you any practice questions, but the doubt sessions will continue on a weekly basis as scheduled on Sundays. In those 15 days, you practice, you will be in a position to solve all kinds of three statement questions, all three statement questions, which are almost 550, 560 questions out of 1200 questions. So almost 50% questions in your exam are multi-statement question, and this percentage has gone almost 75 to 80% questions in one of the years. I think 2013 or 2012 or something, in one of the older years, 78 questions, 70 something around 75 to 78 questions were multi-statement question in that year, right? So the greatest share of your questions in the paper is of multi-statement question. So the point is, until 30th of January, till we finish all the techniques and all varieties of questions, restrict your doubts to what questions I have shared in the group. You do the analysis of these questions. When I say solve the questions multiple times, whatever techniques we have discussed so far, for each technique, you do the analysis. When we have said, when we have discussed the related, not related technique, or linked questions, linked statements, right? Words have meaning, would have heard this, that. So for each statement, for each question, you put that, you do that analysis, comparative analysis, and whatever doubts you have, then please come and ask in the doubt sessions. And then in the consolidation period, you can ask me anything, any question, whether it is standard fact question doable through elimination or not, doesn't matter. You can ask me in the that consolidation period. With that said, one more thing I actually forgot to tell you in the first class. Elimination is not going to have 100% accuracy. Okay, there is no way even if God teaches you, elimination is not going to have 100% accuracy. You can expect accuracy of around 80% ish. Okay, but 75 to 80% accuracy you can expect if you have practiced well, if you have practiced good enough for a decent amount of time. 75 to 80% accuracy for sure is achievable. Beyond that is luck factor comes in. Okay, so if we are lucky, we can do more questions. If we are unlucky, bad luck. But 100% accuracy should not be expected in any case. Okay, and some mistakes must always be done. There will always be certain questions which we will feel that they are within the scope of our elimination techniques, what we have discussed, what we have learned, what we have experienced, but still somehow they are going wrong, and these are unexplicable questions. We cannot explain why we are going wrong in those questions. We are just going wrong. It's just, you can say, it's a good luck thing. Some questions have to go wrong for the other 80% questions to go right. So we can never identify those questions which are the ones, those 20% which will go wrong. So it's just, how it is. That being said, please share your doubts. What doubts do you have? Anything? Yes. Yeah, Samakshi.
Sir, I had a doubt in the very second question that you had posted on the first day when you posted questions. I am.
Tell me the.
What is the purpose of setting up of small finance banks in India?
Okay.
So basically, wherever we have to use that technique, right? There are two very similar sounding statements which are talking roughly about the same thing. उनमें से कोई एक गलत होगा.
Generally, yes.
Those मेरे वो गलत ही हो रहे हैं. By that particular logic, wherever I'm using, I am generally getting the wrong answer. But similarly for this question also, like I felt that yes, A might be the answer, but I felt that statement 1 and 2 are sounding very similar. So they will be wrong.
State finance, small finance banks, na?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dekho, Samakshi, what we discussed as elimination is these are not rules or these are not concrete facts which will be correct in all cases. You have to always look at the context of the question. The first thing, whenever you see any question, firstly, when you are practicing elimination, you should not use too much of knowledge, because that is how you will make more mistakes and that is how you will learn the nuances of the techniques. Making mistakes is extremely important. In the exam, however, you will first depend on what you know for sure. Okay, knowledge is best. Knowledge is best. So whatever you know for sure, you will first depend on that, and only where your knowledge stops supporting you in the question will elimination start to play a role. Okay, that is point number one. Point number two, whenever you see any question, you have, each question will be solved on its own merit. There is nothing that we can put a template on any question. What we have discussed as elimination is more of experience and what trends UPSC has been following. In certain questions where you will get stuck, like that cold mix asphalt question, hot mix asphalt question, right? The sine of an angle question, the history question, and this small finance bank question. The variety is, yes, similar statements are there, but in one question both the statements were correct, in another question one of the statements were correct, in another question none of the statements, that Ministry of Urban Development, Ministry of Rural Development, none of them was correct. So the lesson that we have here is each question will have its own merit. The experience of one statement might be wrong will be helpful when we have exhausted all of the things which the question is telling us. Okay, so here you did not, the problem that happened here is you did not look at what the question is telling you. You were more dependent on that technique. You applied it like a formula. That should not be done. So here, when the question, I said names have meanings, na? Names have meaning. Small finance banks, in the name, nowhere it is saying that it will be urban or rural. What it is saying is small finance. So till the time it is within the domain of small finance, that's okay. What is the issue? Getting my point?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is why you went wrong here. The third statement is outside of the domain of small finance. That is why it is incorrect. If this statement also had that domain, then we would have seen what was the phrasing of that question. Based on that, we'll take a call, okay, whether it will be there or not. But look at how UPSC is helping you here. It is stressing on the words. Words have meaning, particularly in rural areas. So that stress is there. And if some organization is there which is for particularly rural areas, it will be named like that. Na? NABARD is there, or SIDBI is there. SIDBI is for small industries development, right? So merit of the question first, always merit of the question. Each question is different. Each question has its own unique way of approaching. But what we are discussing, they are like general guidelines. Okay.
Okay.
So the thing that we can derive here is the narrower the technique, okay, the less room the technique has for maneuver, keep it, farther in use. The broader the technique, the more room there is maneuver. Like names have meaning, it's a broader technique. Related, not related is a broader technique. So apply the broader ones first. And then when they are not giving you the answer, then you start with the narrower ones. Okay. And the narrowest one will be the last one. Okay. And if nothing helps, nothing works, then leave the question. What is the issue?
Okay.
Yes. What else? Anyone else has any problem in this question? Okay. Next. What question? What problem? Yes, Nick.
Sir, I have a doubt in the RNA interference technology.
Tell me the date, please. On which date was that question given? You just
One
open.
second, sir.
Okay, I have that question. We have it on 3rd of January. The date is 3rd of January.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
So, sir, I used to like I got the statement I got the doubt in two statement actually. The second statement and third statement. The hormone replacement, the word I catch in the third statement is replacement. It is very high sounding and very indigestible. But sir, if I see the cancer, I know the genetic syndrome. There is kind of some problem is also there. But sir, the way the second statement is framed, that it can be used in the therapies which will again help in cancer treatment. But if we see the third statement, sir, it is also the same thing, the development of the therapies which will help in hormone replacement. But the analysis you have given that hormone replacement can be done by general medication also.
Yes.
But sir, the statement are very too close, sir. Like if you see the framing, and if in exam I didn't get the logic that hormone replacement can be done by general medication.
So that is
So sir,
what
how?
that is the significance of this question. I gave this question purposely for this very reason. You make a mistake. When you make a mistake, you become conscious of that trap. Like Samakshi is now conscious of the trap of not applying the formula, the approach like a formula. So this is one variety of these technology based questions wherein you have to look at the scope of the question. The question very clearly is saying RNA interference. So you should touch this question only if you know DNA, RNA, they are related, what they deal with, genetic level thing. And this is a technology. The name interference is given for a purpose. It is showing that you are interfering, you are manipulating that RNA in some way to achieve some desired results. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir, yes.
So where will you use RNA interference? Where the problem is genetic level. That is the base assumption of the question. That's the premise of the question, right?
Yes, sir.
So if anything goes beyond the premise of the question, it is out of scope of that question, that technology name. Yes or no?
Okay. Yes, sir, yes.
Same way we did that road construction question. Do you remember? What all are used in road construction, rural road construction?
That geotextile, hot asphalt, cold asphalt.
Geotextiles. Everyone, please open that question now. Okay, I gave it, I think, recently only. It is on 6th of January. Okay. So what is the premise of this question? Firstly, you need to be able to identify what all kinds of words are significant and what kinds of words are useless. This question started with rural road construction. Now the word rural is a useless word here. Even if it does not mean that in rural road some other things are used, in urban road some other things are used. No, road is road. By road,
yes, sir.
what do you mean by road? By road you mean a decently reliable navigational infrastructure. That's it. It is not ki kacha rasta bana diya na rural mein. Road is a road. Okay. So in road construction, the use of which of the following is preferred. Now this is what is the difference between a narrow question and a wide question. A narrow question, this is an example of a narrow question because it is saying is preferred. Okay, that means if it says is preferred, out of the entire list, what is the first thing that will come to our mind? That answer cannot be something as generic as all of the above. Answer will not be all of the above. If all of the above, and that is why UPSC did not waste an option in giving all of the above.
Yes, sir.
Do you see that? Because वो preferred बोल रहा है ना, it wants you to be selective. Okay, there will be some other question which will say, it will give you some list of laws. Okay, 3-4 laws, 4-5 laws will be there, and the question is which of them have a bearing on biodiversity. Okay, so which of these 4-5 laws have a bearing on biodiversity and which is preferred for conserving biodiversity? There's a difference. Do you see the difference?
Yes, sir, yes.
So
Yes, sir.
if it says have a bearing, to yaar anything will have bearing. Bearing is such a wide word. Anything will have bearing. And because of this width, we got confused in that question of ये था ना अपना rural urban ministry वाला question क्या था? Are associated, which of the following are associated with planning in India?
Planning, yes.
If that planning was not in capital P and the grammar thing, okay, commas, we would have marked all of them for sure. All of them will be because the stress is on the word associated. Associated is such a wide word.
Yes, yes.
But what made it narrow? The grammar made it narrow. Okay. In this question, is preferred is making it narrow. You have to choose, right?
Okay.
And on the
Yes,
basis
sir,
of
yes.
what do you have to choose? You have to ensure environmental sustainability. भाई कैसे भी करो environment sustainability होना चाहिए, right? So the first thing that will strike to your, like, there can be infinite ways of solving a question. Okay, what I share, I'm not saying that's the best way or the only way for all purposes. No, it might be, you know, one of the worst ways of solving, but that is what struck me. That is why I always say elimination is an art. It's not a science. At least my style of elimination is not a science. Okay, you have your own knowledge, you have your own way of thinking. So you trust your knowledge, your way of thinking, but you just practice the experiences which I am sharing here. And then you will be able to arrive at your own version of elimination. Okay, that will be suited, customized for you. Only you will perform best in that. So how I did it was, you have to somehow ensure environment sustainability and reduce carbon footprint. Okay, so how do you do that? When I saw the word slag, it immediately struck to me that slag is something of a waste kind of material. So if you are using waste material and road कुछ खाना थोड़ी है, road पे तो गाड़ी चलेगी ना, slag can be used here. Unless there was something like uranium slag or something radioactive or dangerous, you know, unless it was that, you can use it. Steel slag has been given in your questions. Copper slag has been given in your questions. Okay, some heavy metals, toxic metals also have been given in certain questions. So that is what you have to look at. If it is too dangerous, and this is what your common observation and awareness is, how attentive you are. And this is why you can't just mark all of the above in all such seemingly wide questions. These are the things that are going to, they determine the scope of the question.
Yes, sir. Yes, understood.
So should I explain it any further?
No, sir. Understood, sir.
Okay. Any other doubt? Dekho, one thing I wanted to point out, I did not go for geotextiles and Portland cement in marking this question. Okay, in the initial, and this I've given in the solution video also. Why I did not go? Because geotextiles, just because the name geo is there with textiles, it will be, you know, doing environment sustainability. We don't know. It might be, it might not be. It's like 50-50. But what is not 50-50? Slag is not 50-50. You are using some waste material, right? It is not 50-50. So go with slag first. Geotextiles and even Portland cement. If it said cement, you could have eliminated it. But it said Portland cement. So there's a possibility that Portland cement is made of something which is using waste material and then leading to environment sustainability. But still, I did not know that. So I did not go for Portland cement. That's again, for me, it was 50-50. But I have heard of asphalt. Cold mix, hot mix, nahi suna, but I have heard of asphalt in road construction, and slag was there. So with that, I could arrive at the answer. Okay. Guys, whoever can, turn your cameras on. जो on कर सकता है वो भी off कर रहा है. ऐसे motivation मत तोड़ो यार. हाँ. Clear? What else? Yeah, Ashu.
Sir, I had a doubt regarding that question on 13th Finance Commission. So in that, the second statement seemed
7th January is the date.
Yes. The second statement seemed fishy because yeah. So after eliminating B and D, we are left with A and C. So after this, how to arrive at this whether 3 is correct?
Now, yes. Now the hinging of this question is hinging on the third statement. One is there in both, right?
Yes. Yes.
So the question is hinging on the third statement. You have to recall what you have studied about finance commission. Have
Okay.
you
Yeah.
heard?
Then
Have you heard of this thing in the context of finance commission? Have
yes.
you?
Yes.
You have. And
Yeah.
if it is formal language, it is all the more the reason why it could be correct. If it is
Okay.
devolution is a very formal word. No? Devolution or specified share of central. This is very formal language. No issues with that. So it's correct.
Okay. Yeah, I marked it correct thinking that way. I thought
Yes,
there
yes, yes.
would be
If
some.
it is related to your syllabus and if there is no trap like that, like there was in the comets question, Jupiter में होगा या किस में होगा. Actually, that was a repeat question. I saw some other questions in the older years also. One statement question that this belt is between which planets, and then options were there. So that was a repeat question, but that's good. But even if we did not know that it was a repeat question, it's solvable through elimination. Okay. So, but what you should have been careful about in this third statement is if the language were casual, if the language were informal, then there was a higher chance that UPSC might trap you somewhere. If it is formal language, then the chances of trapping, and if it is factual and formal, the chances of trap is less. But if it is informal, then the chance, because then it depends more on interpretation of the words that are there. So you should be then careful about the specific words that UPSC is using. Okay. What else?
Sir, in question related to ice cubes. Ice cube.
Ice cubes नहीं है वो.
Ice cube.
ठंड लगी अंकित? ठंड लगी वो क्वेश्चन देख के?
Sir, I just did not get it how you concluded all of the above.
All of the above.
It's beyond me. Please.
Yeah, this question is out of the 1200 question from 2011 to 2022. Out of the 1200 question, this is amongst the most important case study question for learning elimination. Okay, so you should do this question multiple times even after we discuss it today. The first thing that you have to decide in this question is whether you know anything about this question or not. पहले मेरे को इस सवाल का जवाब दे. Do you know anything about this question?
No, sir.
Completely blank है ना? Completely blank है. So it's a झटका kind of question. It's a झटका question. धक्का लगा तेरे को ये question देख के, है ना? It's a झटका question. Secondly, UPSC also knows that you don't know anything in this question. This is why it is giving you 3 points in the question statement itself, right? And names have meaning. We know that. So what is the name? Ice cube, and ice ka I capital has, cube ka C capital. The I of ice is capital, the C of cube is capital. Why is that? Because the word ice cube does not have a space in between. Point number 1. Point number 2, I is capital, C is capital. This means 3 things. 1, the ice cube is actually like an ice cube. You know, it is hinting that it is cold. It is like in that ice cube, something, that metaphorical relation with ice cube that you have in your fridge is there. That is why it is, you know, this without space, ice cube. But ice also has independent meaning in itself. Okay, so ice, there has to be some role of ice in this detector ice cube. That is why the I is capital. Okay, and in commas. Yes, it is in commas. Okay, and then cube also has got independent meaning in itself. So that the full term ice cube has its own total meaning. Ice also has got its own meaning, and cube also has got its own meaning. Okay, do you agree with me? Are you with me till here?
Yes, sir.
So cube is a shape, we know that. So it is somehow related to cubical shape. Somehow cubical shape से related है. कैसे related है पता नहीं है, but cubical से कुछ तो relation होगा. Ice से भी relation होगा. Okay, and ice cube जैसा भी कुछ है. Fine. So what is coming to my mind right now is probably this is a facility which would be looking like an ice cube. It will be like a cube and like an ice cube, only from a distance. If you see, it will be looking like an ice cube. This is what is coming to my mind right now after reading the name. Okay, are you with me till here?
Yes, sir.
Now it's purpose is given. What is the purpose? Particle detector. Particle detector. When you hear the term particle, what comes to your mind?
Sir, irrespective of size, it has to be some particle detector.
Yes, when you hear of the word particle, what comes to your mind? What are particles? What kind of particles are we talking about?
Sir, any particles it could be.
Any particles it could be?
Yes,
Any
sir.
particles it could be? In news,
No.
what? Huh?
Sir, problem is the very fact it's written a particle detector located in South Pole. So I know, sir, because ice cube, I capital, C capital, sir, exam में I won't be able to ना कि इसका कुछ meaning है. The only focus will go upon particle detector.
And this is the reason why this question will go wrong. This is the reason why elimination, certain students are getting it correct, certain students, because is there a way of solving this question other than elimination? I'm not saying through my approach only, but other than elimination, is there a way of solving this question?
It might be, sir, because it might be in news. Then if you know it, you will be
In
able to do it.
2015, it was not in news. If it were in news, UPSC for sure will not give such detailed description in the question statement. This is a hint. इतना इंफॉर्मेशन दे रहा है वो, न्यूज में होगा तो नहीं देगा ना. आरएनए टेक्नोलॉजी का क्या उसने वो दिया, एक्सप्लेनेशन कुछ दिया? वी नो डीएनए, वी नो आरएनए. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So I think leaving this question might actually be the best thing to do.
That is a choice that you can make in the exam hall. But I wanted you to get exposed to this. Leave तो कभी भी कर दो यार.
नहीं, I understand sir your technique, but वो ये कि exam time में ऐसी
You
set
can
नहीं चमकेगा दिमाग में.
नहीं, कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं. The thing is, the purpose in this course, I want to give you exposure to everything which I know about this technique, what the deepest depths of this technique, where you will find this is the most challenging question in out of the 1200 questions, I would say. But you need to be able to identify what is a challenging question in the first place. Unless you make a mistake, unless you struggle in some question, how will you know it is challenging or not?
Right.
When you are struggling in this question, it will remain in your mind, and tomorrow if something similar is there, you will either be making some headway in that question, or you will know, yaar bhaiisse haath jod lo, ye nahi hoga. This is certainly not a question to be done in the first round or in the second round of your attempt. Probably in the end, last round, when you are done with all the other doable questions, and when after this question, all the questions are completely factual, which you have no idea about. You can't touch those questions. Then if you have some spare time, you can invest in questions like these.
Right.
You should never do these questions in the first go when you have like your prime time and under stress, and there are easier questions. So this is like a last category kind of question, but we have to look at it.
Right.
This is a lesson question.
Yes.
So and the important thing is it is doable via the techniques which we have discussed. So I have been practicing elimination. It has taken me 4 years to reach where I am today in terms of looking at a question and learning how to approach it, thinking about it. Millions of mistakes I've made in those questions. Millions of analysis assessments I've done. When one mistake is made, all the similar question I'll see, and then I'll compare, okay, isme kaise tha, usme kaise tha, and then derive what are the lessons. But that is what I'm sharing with you all. यहाँ पे हमने क्या बोला था? Names have meaning, words have meaning, and if it is related, it has got a higher chance of being correct. Right, Ankit?
Yes, sir.
Now, and this is a question which is completely unknown. That means knowledge is not required in solving this question. This means you have a higher room to, if you are within that range, you will get a better chance of being correct rather than being incorrect, right? So you have to be within that range somehow, within that range. So how do you determine that range? It is all about determining the range. Do you want me to continue the explanation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just wanted to do second statement, because even if when I read the question, I read the first statement. It is the world largest neutrino detector. I also knew that the world largest does not make any sense in this statement. Because
why not, yaar? Why not?
Sir, because then if I have to, because then it will, the first statement will not be related. It's related because cubic
It can be,
kilometer of
okay,
ice.
okay. मतलब ये है, because it is an unknown question, in that sense, world's largest being in South Pole. The thing is, if you have a reason to look at that, make a connection with something, if it is in South Pole, it will be a collaborative effort. Possibly it is world's largest, right? In such a remote location, international territory, you will not have just one big institution of one country. Civil services exam will not ask about some US research center in such detail.
But if we look into this question, even if UPSC want us to make mistake in this question, why would it be on world largest or not the world largest?
Agreed.
Just,
agreed.
We would make many, anyway we are making mistakes in this. So world largest.
Fine. आगे बढ़ो.
Sir, neutrino detector related terms encompassing a cubic kilometer of ice. Something like detector located in South Pole.
Yes.
Have no idea how it is located, where it is located, पे है, कहाँ पे है, we have no idea. Sir,
बिल्कुल.
It is a powerful telescope to search for dark matter. This is because even if I would have marked it 1 and 3, C. How come we reduced it to it's a powerful telescope? Because what definition we have for telescope?
What comes to your mind when you see the word telescope? What will come to your mind?
There's something.
वो ऐसे वाला ना, वो dome shape वाला भी होता, बड़े-बड़े वो होते. Those are regular telescopes or particle detectors?
No sir, regular
telescope ना. अब रेगुलर टेलीस्कोप है तो उससे क्या देखोगे? रेगुलर थिंग्स ओनली ना. पत्थर देख लिया, एस्ट्रॉइड देख लिया, कॉमेट देख लिया, प्लैनेट देख लिया, सुपरनोवा, इस टाइप की चीजें देखोगे ना. तो ऑब्जर्वेबल फिनोमेना, यस और नो? वही देखोगे.
Yes sir.
The question itself is saying it's a particle detector. So is it a regular telescope or a regular telescope? भी छोड़ो. Is it a regular piece of infrastructure or a specialized piece of infrastructure?
Specialized.
So if it is specialized, and now you tell me the term telescope, the another one more doubt that can happen is, normally like telescopes are over the ground. Why will it be, buried deep in the ground? Did that doubt come? Do you want to discuss that doubt?
Yes sir, yes sir.
The first statement itself, and this is a brilliant solution which one of my very dear students gave yesterday only in the discussion. And in fact, I had also not thought about this question in this way. What he said was, the first statement itself is saying it encompasses 1 cubic kilometer of ice, 1000 meters in length, breadth and height, right? So if it is 1000 meters of height, will it not be going down? So it has to be buried deep in the ice only, na? Otherwise, the third statement is casual. The energy that the third statement is carrying is informal. It's like casual statement. Can you sense that casualness in this statement?
Yes sir.
Yes, but still that statement is correct, because it is derivable from the first one. Such a simple, brilliant, I would say, way of looking at it. So is the third statement and first statement clear now? Are these clear? Now the issue is of the second statement. Firstly, to say that it cannot be a telescope because telescopes are for regular things only is a narrow view of it, because you have to be an expert to say that telescopes cannot be used for studying dark matter. There could be some specialized telescope to study for. Telescope is a general word, ना, कोई बहुत specific word थोड़ी है. There can be multiple different types of telescopes. This is connecting with the same philosophy. One of the questions, let me just share that question with you all. Okay, it was about drones, and 1 second.
Sir, as you are discussing, I can think of a different way of solving this question.
Please tell me.
So sir, there's a statement. What is common in all the statements is neutrino or something related to the word particle or dark matter. तो जो main statement है जो UPSC ने खुद दिया है, it itself says it's a particle detector.
Yes.
Then first statement में it says it's the world's largest neutrino detector. And in the second statement it says it is looking for dark matter. और अगर डार्क मैटर जैसी चीज देखनी है, you will have to have a powerful telescope only, and it's not mentioning that it's the most powerful telescope or any specifications. तो powerful तो होगा ही वो.
The word powerful is not important here.
Right.
वो just like world's largest still has got more weight than the word powerful in this statement, the second statement.
Right.
That is not important. Telescope, देखो कहाँ अटकोगे, where will you get stuck is the term telescope. It cannot be a telescope, because our mind, when we see the word telescope, what will come is those regular structures and equipment, you know, that thing, वो ऐसे वाला. We will think that यार ये इससे तो डार्क मैटर कभी सुना नहीं तो नहीं होगा, कभी सुना नहीं तो नहीं होगा वाला philosophy यहाँ नहीं लगेगा, because this is a question which you have no idea about. That means, for example, if I tell you today Mr. Ahmed is going to take your class. Okay, Mr. Ahmed is going to take your class, and if I say Mr. Ahmed has done a PhD in something, will you believe me or will you not believe me?
Believe.
Why?
Because why would you lie about it?
Why would I lie about it? That's another matter, but you don't know anything about Mr. Ahmed. He could have a PhD in something, na? He could have.
You enjoy legitimacy in our eyes, na?
That's okay. The point that I'm trying to tell you is not whether you trust me and you trust my word for it or not. The point is, when you think about this logically, is there any reason to believe that Mr. Ahmed cannot have a PhD? Is there any reason to believe? Just when I say Mr. Ahmed is your instructor today and he has a PhD in some area, there is no reason to believe that it cannot be correct. Same way, when you are given something which is completely unknown, there is no reason to believe that it's for dark matter or for it. If it said instead of dark matter, if it said something else also, and if it had changed the question accordingly, the scope of the question and the other statements accordingly, we'll go by that also, correct here. Everything will fall in place. The thing is, nothing should conflict. The statement should not conflict with each other. The information that is given. So the lesson in this question is, when we have completely unknown things given, you must always look for anything which is conflicting with each other. Do you remember the Laureus Sports Award question of 2021? Now there are two questions I wanted to share. One is a spouting whales question. Is this kind of discussion that we are having, is it adding value or are we simply wasting time?
No, it's helpful.
It's helpful na? Agar kuch bhi, this is a student driven course, okay? If you feel that we are not making much headway, we don't want to waste our time. We'll do what is adding most value only. Okay, just a second. I'll give you this question now.
Sir, I think that UPSC will not try to trap us on this thing that telescopes cannot be used for this or that, because the scope of science and technology.
That is what I'm saying. Matlab, here it's not a matter of telescope, but where will we get stuck? We will get stuck in this, just like in that there was a e-commerce question. E-commerce companies can do what all, two statement question in 2022. That was also very simple, seemingly simple statement, but it was about law, some regulation. So students just and many students who who have shared their papers with me, many of those students have done a mistake in that question, just seemingly because the statements are processable, but actually they are laws. We are talking about what rules are there, what provisions of law are there. It can be correct, it cannot be correct also. So wahan pe gadbad ho raha hai, and the same mistake will happen with telescope word in this question. I'll share one question with you. In fact, two questions I'll share, okay? Open your ET course.
So I think we can try asking the question कि अगर कुछ चीज स्पेस में डिटेक्ट करना है, टेलीस्कोप डिटेक्ट नहीं करेगा तो क्या डिटेक्ट करेगा? What will detect something if not a telescope?
No, here it is about dark matter. It is not under the purview
Visual.
of
See,
particles.
the word telescope here is not important, because instead of telescope, if it said it is a facility, it is a something, some कुछ भी बोल देगा ना, वो matter नहीं करता. क्या matter करता है? What matters is what is it detecting. So one hint that we have in the question is particle detector. Another hint is neutrino in the first statement. And then what is connected with both of these is dark matter.
Okay.
Dark matter is what? It is matter, but it is dark. We cannot observe it via normal things. And dark matter makes up most of the universe. Observable matter makes up only 5% of the universe.
Okay.
Dark matter and dark energy makes up the 95%. And out of dark matter and dark energy makes up matter. So energy is much more sukshma, much more nuanced, subtle than matter. So dark energy is much more, like I was reading this article on NASA's website, almost like 66-67% of the universe is dark energy. Another 25-27% is dark matter. And this adds up to around 95%. And the remaining 5% is observable matter.
Okay.
Okay, so this word dark matter is very wide.
Mm-hmm.
So it is connecting with neutrino word of the first statement and particle detector word of the question given in the question.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the reason why, and it's an unknown question. So if it is an unknown question, the chances of something being high are correct. By default, things will be high unless there is some reason to say it is incorrect. Okay, this will be in unknown question. This will be in unknown question. Ankit, are you with me? अच्छा, official channel पे मैं share करता हूँ, so that you know some people might not be from the ET course, they might be from official channel also. Let me just share it again on the official channel. Look at this question. Solve this question for me. Who will solve? Ankit, चल तू ही solve कर.
Sir, it's the whales wala question. Consider the following activities. So, first of all, I'm reading the question. At present level of technology, which of the above activities can be successfully carried out by using drones?
Carried out how?
Using drones.
Successfully carried out.
Successfully.
Now tell me, is the word successfully important or useless here?
Useless.
Useless.
Useless. How do you identify useless? If you remove it, it's not going to change the impact of the statement. So
yes,
carried out or successfully carried out means the same thing. आगे बढ़ो.
Yes. Spraying pesticides on a crop field. Inspecting the craters of active volcanoes. Collecting breath samples from spouting whales for DNA analysis.
बोलो.
Sir, first one is correct. Statement is can be. I think, sir, its answer will be D.
Why? What about the third one?
Collecting breath samples from spouting whales for DNA.
And even second one. Are you aware of these two things?
Sir, craters of active volcano. सर एक्टिव है तो फिर तो सर कर ही सकते हैं, मतलब ऐसा तो नहीं है कि उसके अंदर जाना.
एक्टिव है तो जल नहीं जाएगा.
तो सर टेक्नोलॉजी तो सर ड्रोन से ऊपर है सर, कर लेंगे, उससे हो जाएगा. इजी.
कैसे बोल सकते हो तुम? Why? Because what is inspecting? Drones are inspecting, na? Drones are inspecting. What kind of drones are there? Can there be some kind of drone that is so small and so rugged that it can even, you know, go into volcano and maybe initial lava ka bhi temperature bear kar jaye? Can there be such kind of drones? There can be. There can be. So the problem in this question, why will this question go wrong? Most of the students marked the third statement incorrect. Okay, spouting whale se nahi kar sakta, kaise hoga ye, this, that. Here, what is the problem in this? Because the question is hinging on the word drones, and it's wide or narrow? You tell me.
Wider term.
Wide hai na? Drone means every damn thing. Yaar, military drones se leke spy drones and scientific drones, everything is included in that. It's a very wide term. Same way, telescope in the this question, ice cube question, very wide term. We can't say it is just that. What tube wala?
Sir, the problem is not whether we are able to identify whether telescope is available. Problem is that whether we are able to identify a particular question. Yes, this is the question where I have to be careful. For example, the whale question.
देखो, this is just 1 week in the course. कितना क्वेश्चन किया तूने? 20-25 क्वेश्चन, 30 क्वेश्चन मैक्सिमम. अभी से ही you focus on your karma. अपना कर्म करो. समय के साथ things are. You trust me on this. समय, I will make sure that you know कौन से questions हैं, कैसे हैं, and this is why I say don't run after doing more number of questions. Run after analyzing the questions that we have done. I am giving questions very selectively. मैं ऐसा randomly question नहीं दे रहा हूँ. I'm not giving questions randomly in the group. There's a reason why I'm giving these questions in the sequence. And there's a reason why I did not do all the techniques in the first class only. Because slow steps, simple steps, धीरे धीरे करके हम आगे बढ़ेंगे. You getting my point?
Yes,
So
sir.
your job, I don't expect moon from you, but I expect that don't run after doing more number of questions. That is not going to be of much help. What is going to be of much help? Analyze the questions in the context of the techniques and the discussions that we have had. So you keep making notes of whatever interesting things you feel we have discussed. And then you analyze every question, every statement in that context. This is going to give you great clarity, the best clarity. And then you will have such good quality doubts when you come in the class. It will be, it will be very revealing for everybody, including me. We'll get things to think about. Maybe even cutting edge things which I have not thought about. We'll get those domains also to think about and sharpen our approach. You getting my point? Abhimanyu? Yes.
Sir, whenever I try science and tech questions, even after trying the elimination techniques, if I am not 100% sure, then I am doing the traditional thing that in science and tech question, we can mark all of the above right. And by doing so, though it is silly kind of thing, but after doing so, I am getting out of 10, 7 right. And if I am not doing that, I am only getting 3 or 4 right.
No, till now you are getting 7 out of 10 right. Tomorrow UPSC can change the trend. It will give you 5 questions from science and tech. None of them can be done via the old way of just mark everything right. You are just lucky till now.
Yes.
So this is the whole point. We capture, we identify, we become sensitive to what all things are there in a question about which we can think. So the discussions which we have had so far, do you feel we were irrational or we were trying just too hard to arrive at the answer somehow? Do you feel like that in any question, including in the ice cube question? Do you feel we tried very hard to just arrive at the answer?
No, sir. Actually, I also tried ice cube question, and the basic problem was only on the element of telescope. But at the time, I was not clear on that point, so I marked B. All of the, as I was already doing that.
This was a 2015 question. Yes. This was asked in 2015. Now UPSC is very aggressively eliminating the older, thoughtless or indiscriminate ways of thinking. Very aggressive UPSC is, and that is why I don't want you to, even if you got it right, getting right doesn't matter. What matters is why it is right. You want to discuss something else? Any other thing? Can I clarify?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Abhishek. Abhishek, your hand was raised. Audio.
Yes, sir. Sir, am I audible now?
Yeah.
Sir, I have solved this before. That's why I was able to solve it now.
Which question?
But the whale one, sir.
Whale wala, huh?
Okay. But when the first time I did this question, I, as you said that that most of the candidates the third option is incorrect. I also
third
did
statement
the
as incorrect.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes,
sir. Yes, sir. The reason was, sir, I focused on successfully, sir. Like you said, it doesn't matter, but I did at that time. And the starting statement, like at the present level of technology, the first 2 statements are just talking like it's a passive activity to do, like by the drones. It doesn't have to go closer to the object, like spraying pesticides. It can do. Inspecting also it can do from distance by means high end cameras. But collecting breath samples, like it have to be close to the means collection sites.
Okay.
So that was kind of like no, it can't do it successfully.
That is the mental block that we have. That is the mental block. This is why I always say UPSC prelims is not a test of your knowledge, it's a test of your attitude. Why
Yes, sir.
can't it be close to a whale? Who can say that drone cannot be close to a whale? Only some whale and drone expert can say this. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Are you that expert?
No, sir.
So for you, when I say Mr. Ahmed is a PhD in something, is it correct or false?
Yes, sir. I have to assume it to
Yes.
be true, sir.
Yes, because there's no reason to say it is false, no? Unless you are some
Yes, sir.
specialized person who knows about PhDs and Mr. Ahmed, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this is the reason why the third statement, we get this mental block that
Yes,
what
sir.
seems to be out of the range of the things that we have heard. We are not
Yes, sir.
taking it as potentially possible. We are
Yes,
taking, we
sir.
are more, this is human nature. Let me say that.
Yes,
This is
sir.
human nature. And that is
Yes,
what
sir.
you have to consciously deal with in questions.
Yes,
Here
sir.
the question is saying at the present level of technology, there are questions
Yes, sir.
which have said when such and such scheme is fully and perfectly implemented, something like that,
Yes, sir.
is fully implemented, what are the benefits which India is going to get?
Yes,
1,
sir.
2, 3.
There
When
are.
it is fully and perfectly implemented, every benefit will be there, yeah, unless there is some problem in some statement, conflicting
Yes,
or
sir.
something, and unrelated
Yes,
to
sir.
the scheme name, whatever.
Yes,
But
sir.
other than that, when it says when fully and perfectly implemented,
Yes,
what
sir.
benefits India will get, till the time it is within the scope, within the range related to the question, we will get that benefit, yeah, because fully and perfectly की बात कर रहा है ना, means there is no error, no problem in that, तो सब कुछ मिलेगा यार. Even
Yes, sir.
unexpected benefits will be there.
Yes,
It is
sir.
increasing the scope, right?
Yes, sir.
When it is saying present level of technology, it is restricting the scope.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but still, and this is where the problem is, we will feel that at the present level, kabhi humne suna nahi, we have never heard that some drone is going and capturing breath samples. Of what whales?
Yes, sir.
Spouting whales. The issue is the word spouting we will not see. Spouting means what? That if you have seen Discovery Channel or the National Geographic, that whale will come like this on near water surface and will throw water.
Yes, sir.
That is spouting. So वो ऊपर रहेगा, उसको पकड़ लेगा, क्या दिक्कत है? वो whale के अंदर थोड़ी घुस रहा है.
Yes, sir.
Right? And even if it says अंदर घुसने की बात है, तो घुस भी सकता है यार. We are not experts to say वो नहीं घुस सकता.
Yes, sir.
Sir, even if you take successfully carried out by drone, taking the term successfully into account, even then also it's redundant. How can you so sure what amount to be successful? If spraying pesticides on a crop field, how will be, even if not successful, there will be some plant that will be left from pesticides. Then even that will be unsuccessful.
Yes, absolutely. बिल्कुल सही बोल रहे हो. So the point is, it's a very, and this is how UPSC is helping you, na. It's all about mindset. If you are afraid, you know, there's a saying in Hindi, दूध का जला छाछ भी फूक फूक के पीता है. The meaning is, if you burn your hands once, then you are very doubtful of touching that thing again. And the more doubt there is in your mind, UPSC plays with your doubt. The more relaxed you are. And that is why I said you have to feel the question. You start, when you analyze the question, when you read the question, you have to read it from your heart, not from your mind. Read it from your mind, the very factual questions, standard fact questions, which are asking you about maybe constitutional provisions or something, memory based questions or something. वो ठीक है. But those are like 20, 30, 40 questions at max. 20, 35, 30, 35 questions. These questions must be read from your heart in a relaxed. The more relaxed you are, the better clarity there is going to be. So don't do these kind of questions. There are questions which are simple enough to be done in the first round. In the first round in the paper, you should always do only those questions which are absolutely sure of. Those 30, 35 knowledge questions. Only those questions. Don't touch elimination in the first round. That can shake your confidence. Because the more you think, the greater the chance of that fear and that pressure is there, performance, this and that. Don't touch elimination questions in the first round. Always go for elimination in the second round. And in the second round, go for the easier elimination questions first. And then subsequently the harder ones. Low hanging fruits always first.
So can we give benefit of doubt to in science and tech question to the options?
In the sense, I didn't get your point.
So for example, in this question only, collecting breath sample from spouting whales. Whenever we see any science and tech question, can we give the benefit of doubt to the statements? Let us consider all might be correct. And then
ऐसा नहीं
try to
होगा ना.
eliminate.
नहीं, how can you say that, Abhimanyu? That is the whole point that we are fighting against. We are fighting against this very strong tendency of just throwing the towel in the ring. By throwing the towel in the ring, I mean यार नहीं आता, time pressure है, science and tech का है, unknown सा दिख रहा है, just mark all of the above and move ahead. ऐसे नहीं करना है ना. नहीं तो why are we so debating so many these small things, successful, this, that, what not? Why are we debating all of this? Because we want to be sensitive to these things. The more sensitive you are to these things, with practice, you will start reading the questions like that. And the more you stick to the older methods of thinking, the more resistance there is going to be and the less accuracy there is going to be in your elimination.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. What else? Yes, Sarthi.
Sir, I didn't get the word like wide coverage, like in NBA question, National Biodiversity Authority. I guess it is second or like in first or second page, NBA question.
Just a second. You are talking about the PDF?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. Yeah.
You said this question has a wide coverage, like NBA is something like that is having a wide coverage.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Wide coverage means the scope of the question, like the scope of the word telescope in deep in ice cube question. Is it wide or narrow?
Yeah, telescopes wide.
The scope of the word drones in this drones question, spouting whales question, is it wide or narrow?
It is wide.
The scope of the word home charges in that home charges question, is it wide or narrow?
If we are talking like with respect to India, it is like narrow.
Yes,
like
narrow
only for
in the sense, narrow in the sense only for India, but then wide. Anything related
in
to
India, like it is wide.
India. So it is narrow because only for India. But then when till the time a statement is related to India, it can be anything. It can be anything, right? So wide in that sense. So National Biodiversity Authority is an authority which we have not heard about. So we have to go up after the name of this question. It's a national level body. It's an authority, national level, dealing with biodiversity in some way. In what way? Now the question is asking you. Now the question is narrowing the scope. How will it protect Indian agriculture? Although it's a biodiversity authority, the question could have very well said, how is it protecting biodiversity? Then that would be a wider question, including natural and wild species also. But here the question is narrowing down to Indian agriculture only. So it does not mean that NBA is only about Indian agriculture. NBA could be about wider things also, but the question is only about agriculture. So we have to see how this body NBA. Now NBA means it can deal with anything related to biodiversity, yes or no, by the name of this body?
Yes.
So it is wide or not?
It is wide, okay.
So till the time it is within that range of biodiversity, then it's fine.
It is wide.
But the problem with one of the statements, the second statement was genetics. And we know genetics is a big problem in this country, na? GM news mein rehta hai na, problem kya? It is in news.
Right.
So you have heard of specialized body for genetics, yes or no?
Yes, GAC.
This is why, because you have heard of specialized bodies, you know that if it were related to genetics, for sure, it will be mentioned in the list of those bodies or not?
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. If you don't know something, then then something being correct has a higher chance. By default, something is correct till the time it is within the range fixed by that name or whatever scheme, whatever you are talking about. As it steps outside that range, then correct.
So one more, like in FCRF. Wait. Research fellowship, something. What question?
Carbon partnership.
carbon partnership. Yeah.
That question number is,
I guess. Okay. So
page number batao. Page
Individual
number
scientists.
individual scientist, page
11.
number 11. Okay,
Yeah.
bolo.
Individual scientist. So you said that it is like second statement is a vague statement, but if we read like forest research, like scientific forestry research, they are like a formal terms, right?
Yes. Yes.
So in spite of that, scientists, like individual scientists, if we like remove that individual scientists, or like we can like financial aid to only universities and institutions.
If you remove, then it's correct.
Okay.
If you remove, then it's correct, but you can't remove. That is the problem.
Yeah. Right.
That's it.
So that's why that is vague sentence, right?
Yes, yes. Because of individual scientists, it's a problem. If individual scientists were not there, then it's a perfect sentence. हम क्या कैसे problem निकालें इसमें? It's formal, it's linked, it's related. Everything is there.
Okay. So in ice cube question, I'm also having doubt. Like how we are saying like second statement is correct.
Because
I'm still having doubt.
Good you asked. Good you asked. Because firstly, in unknown questions, by default, things will be correct or false. You tell me that.
By default, it is correct.
It is correct. Unless there is some problem. Unless there is some problem. And what kind of problems will be there? It will not be related. It will be beyond the scope. It will be something will be there. Right? That in each question will differ. Now, so how do we determine what is the scope of the question? What are those things, the tests that, something you have to check for whether it is correct or not? The information that is given in the question statement and the information that is given in the other statements. When you arrive at any answer, you should always, like, it should be bottom up. You should solve the question also. But then when you finalize some option, just see whether the two things, if there are two or more things given, कुछ उससे conflict तो नहीं हो रहा है. Just to be sure, so you go bottom up, but you also go top down, just to be sure that there is no mistake that you have made. If you feel anything conflicting, then probably कहीं कुछ गड़बड़ किया है processing में.
Okay, it is not conflicting. That's why the all sentences are right.
There is no conflict in any of the sentences. Secondly, it is also within the scope of the question. Particle detector term is there. We know that particles are like what? Subatomic, fundamental, Higgs boson, neutrino. Indian Neutrino Observatory bhi to hai. Indian Neutrino Observatory in that's under a hill.
Tamil Nadu.
है ना? So we can, if you know about it, you can link that also. ठीक है, that also is under a hill, so it could be buried deep in ice. So ठीक है. So
now, first and third sentences are not having any problem. Like second one, they're like what telescope?
No, that is what I'm saying. Even in second, the problem with telescope we have already discussed. Telescope is a generic word here, can mean anything. You are not an expert in telescopes to say that telescope do not look for dark matter. You're not an expert, right? So for us, it could look for dark matter. There could be some specialized telescope doing that. But what is the problem is dark matter. Till the time dark matter is within the realm of the question, correct only, na?
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Is your doubt clear?
Yeah.
After this session, I want each one of you to go back to this question and solve it again. Okay, look at the question, each statement from all of these angles. Yes, Samir.
So if we see in the question ice cube, so the first and the third statement are going the third statement is the further explanation of the first statement only. So is it correct, sir?
Yes. It is an extension. Na? Agar 1 kilometer cube hai, to height bhi ho gayi, na? 1 cubic kilometer.
Yes.
So it is automatically going deep. ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
So the thing is, despite the third sentence being a informal way of writing, still it is correct. This is an important lesson. Because it is linked
and
to
that's
the
why I marked. And that's why I marked the third option C is the correct answer, sir. Because I thought that first and third statement are going with the same way. Yes.
But then why did you ignore the second one?
Because it's out of the box. Like it is saying about the construction regarding the first and third statement, like the overall dimension of the observatory. But second statement is saying about the application of this, and I thought that it might be incorrect also. That's the thing.
Might be बोला ना, देखो फिर ये तो वो है ना यार, might you need more knowledge to say something is correct or more knowledge to say something is incorrect?
Correct.
More knowledge to correct, sir.
नहीं, more knowledge जब incorrect है. Mr. Ahmed has a PhD. You don't have any knowledge about Mr. Ahmed, तो होगा ना भाई PhD. If I say Mr. Ahmed can fly, तो भाई it's possible यार, Mr. Ahmed could fly also. Possible. कभी सुना नहीं है, but possible तो है. I never said वो organic wings निकाल के fly करेगा ना. क्या पता वो jet लेके fly करेगा. कुछ भी करे.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
in unknown situations, by default, things are correct unless proven otherwise. And more knowledge is required to say something is incorrect than saying something is correct.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
understood, sir.
Huh.
Yes.
Do you get my point? Do you want to discuss second statement any further?
No, sir.
No, sir. No. Understood, sir.
Okay. Abhishek?
Yes, sir. I have doubt in this question, sir. Forest rights act, sir. 98.
Tell me the date.
It was on 5th January, sir.
Okay. Critical wildlife habitat.
Yes, sir.
What is the doubt?
Sir, in the second statement, sir, I just got the vibe that it's informal.
How is it informal?
And in most of the statement, I'm getting this out. So how to counter this? I mean, this thought, like
What is
I find it
what do you mean by informal? Give me an example. Chalo, let me first tell you what is what I mean when I say
Yes, sir.
something is informal, something is formal. कभी दोस्तों के साथ चाय पीने गए हो तुम?
Yes, sir.
चाय पे कैसे गप मारते हो? उस टेस्ट सीरीज में ये पूछ लिया, उसमें वो पूछ लिया, बकवास थी, बहुत अच्छा था, ये वो.
Yes, sir.
The kind of casual conversations that you have जब तुम चाय की टपरी पे चाय पी रहे हो, that is like kind of informal thing. It is buried deep in ice. Is that category? Tapri category?
Yes, sir. I had that doubt. Means this doubt in that question too, sir. This one and that. I found both of them informal.
No, you found the buried in ice
Yes, sir.
informal. That is
Yes, sir.
informal.
Yes, sir.
Agreed. That is
Yes, sir.
informal.
Yes, sir.
And same
Yes, sir.
statement was there. Digital India question, first statement. The objective of Digital
Yes, sir.
India is to create internet companies
Yes, sir.
like China did. Again informal.
Yes, sir.
Again informal, right? Do you sense the
Yes, sir.
informality in it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
But
there also I did, sir.
In this statement, second statement,
yes, sir.
for the first time in India, baigas have been given habitat rights. Is it a statement which can be there in your books or in your newspapers? Is it a statement of that kind?
Yes, sir.
So if it is of that category statement, it is formal.
Okay.
Because only formal things will be there in your books and newspapers. They will not be written casually.
Yes, sir.
So for the first time, baigas have been given. Okay. In this statement,
Yes,
there is no casual statement. In this question, there is no casual statement. In the critical wildlife question, all statements are formal.
Yes, sir. I have to see it like, I mean, it can be in text or not.
It can be in text. That is yes. Matlab,
yes.
You will
one way too.
One way. You will start to feel the energy of the sentence. Okay, with practice, you will start to feel the energy of the sentence. And this is going to be of critical importance in solving reading comprehension questions also in CSAT, where it will be said, what does the author mean when he says this? So author ka man janna hai tumko. Man kaise janoge? You have to feel what the author is saying. Sarcastic ho raha hai, sarcastic tarike se, same words. If you follow, Rahul Gandhi nowadays has got that beard, right? Somebody would say, sir, kya lag rahe ho? Somebody would say, sir, kya lag rahe ho? There's a difference, na? In tone. And this difference in tone is creating difference in meaning. One might be saying, yaar, kya badhiya lag rahe ho? To me, I feel, that photo of Karl Marx comes to my mind when I see Rahul Gandhi. Right? So, tone pata lagana. How do you identify tone? Sense the the way in which that is written. This is very formal way of writing. I'll give you some examples. Should I
Sir,
give you some examples of formal and informal?
Sir,
Yeah.
I also wanted
Yes.
to ask some question in the same question.
Hmm.
Since we know that third statement, Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change.
You remind Ankit, एक second. Abhishek, remind me of giving some examples of formal informal.
Yes, sure, sir, sure, sir.
Ankit, bolo.
In the third statement, sir, as I know, ki Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change is not concerned with the habitat and rehabilitation of those tribal and vulnerable tribal groups. So it's an incorrect statement. But had there not been this statement, what comes to my mind is, for the first time in India, Baigas have been given their habitat rights. So much talk about in the constitution, 5th schedule, 6th schedule, governor powers. And for the first time, we have recognized habitat right for Baigas. If there is a tribe, we would have already recognized their habitat right.
How do you know already recognized? If
Because
instead of, do you know about Baigas?
So we don't know about Baigas.
If you don't know about Baigas, by default, things are correct or false?
By default, things are correct.
So instead of Baigas, if I said something else, some other tribe, Santhales is very famous. If it were about Santhales, then if you have heard, then correct. If you have not heard, then incorrect. Because Santhal tribe and Jarawa tribe,
there are so many tribes.
That is what I'm saying. If it is an unheard tribe, and if it is a formal statement with no conflict with the other statements, तो correct होगा ना? क्या problem है? Ice cube, unheard. It is a particle detector. Correct. It's a ये क्या था second statement तुम्हारा? Dark matter, telescope to detect dark matter. Correct. क्या problem है? By default, things are correct till the time they are not breaching the limit set by the question and the other statement, not conflicting with the other statement. There has to be some reason to say it is incorrect. यहाँ पे क्या reason है? For the first time, भाई किसी ना किसी tribe का तो होगा ही ना for the first time, right?
Sir, it is like not proven, not guilty until proven.
Yes. It is like that. It is like that. Innocent until proven guilty.
Yes.
बिल्कुल ठीक है. But with practice, okay, there are exceptions. There are things यहाँ पे ये भी गड़बड़ करेगा. With practice, I'm just opening things up for you guys slowly. We will practice more of these questions. We'll practice conflicting questions. We'll practice all of these. With time, it will come. But I hope at least as of today till now, there is consensus that if it is unknown, completely unknown, then correct until proven otherwise. Okay?
We have seen that in all the questions till now.
Yes.
No exception.
I'll share some examples of formal, informal. You guys tell me whether it is formal or informal. Okay? Just formal. I'm not saying correct or incorrect. Formal or informal. In case I use Hindi too much in some, while telling something, I try my best to repeat everything that I say in Hindi in English also. But in case I say some important thing in Hindi, just remind me that I was in Hindi, because these are all recorded videos and we want them to be in English. I'll share these examples in the official channel. Okay, one statement I have shared. Chalo Abhishek, तुम ही बताओ. Bolo, is this a formal or an informal statement? Iced tea बन गई है मेरी. I had hot tea when I started drinking it. Yeah. Statement Mila, Abhishek, did you get it?
Yes, sir.
Please read it out loud.
Seems formal, sir.
पहले statement पढ़ो.
पढ़ा.
नहीं, जोर से पढ़ो, सबके लिए पढ़ो.
The 24-hour mean of PM 2.5 should not exceed 15 UG per meter cube, and annual
Microgram,
mean of PM.
And annual mean
2.5 should not exceed 5 microgram
per meter cube.
Hmm.
Okay. So formal or informal?
Formal, sir.
Formal,
Formal.
right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now, whoever turns their camera on will get the opportunity to tell whether it is formal or informal. So those who are not turning your cameras, don't you want to try? Suman, try it, please. Sumit Soren. If you are not in a position to speak, maybe in library, maybe somewhere else, message. Who wants to try? Aarti, would you want to try?
So I guess it is informal.
पहले statement पढ़ो बच्चे.
Okay. The award was received mostly by Formula 1 players so far. So it is not specific. Like it is like okay, some Formula 1 many Formula 1 players have won the award so far. Like that.
Right? Sense आ रहा है ना informality का? Abhishek, you can sense informality?
Yes, sir.
I'm not saying correct or incorrect.
Yes,
Some
sir.
informal may be correct, some formal may be incorrect. That's a different matter. But generally, if it is formal, higher chances of being correct. Generally, if it is informal, higher chances of being incorrect. Okay. But
Yes,
then
sir.
the limit set by the individual question will matter. Okay. Last statement for today. Anyone wants to try, raise their hands. I mean, use the raise hand feature. Okay. Whoever else wants to try, raise your hand. Just one.
Sir, I didn't got the that question. Which channel you have said that?
Official channel जो है, official channel पे भेज रहा हूँ. Are you part
RDI
of RDI
ET2023
Rakesh
course.
Dalal Institute official channel? You're not a part of that. एक सेकंड, रुको. मेरे को एक बार टेलीग्राम पे मैसेज कर अंकित, लिंक भेज दो.
Thank you, sir.
ये ज्वाइन कर. The only problem with Telegram is for everything, like you're forced to make a new channel. If you don't make a new channel, खिचड़ी हो जाती है फिर, and then there are so many channels. In my feed itself, there are so many. I also get confused. कौन से channel कहाँ है? If anyone else doesn't have access to my official channel, please message me on Telegram. Okay. Samakshi, बताओ. The official, formal, informal.
In India, more than 90% of teacher education institutions are directly under the state government. It sounds informal to me because more than 90% is not very accurate.
Yeah. It's not about accuracy of the fact. It's about how it is written.
हाँ मतलब पक्का लिखा होता 92, 93.
Yes. Okay, then formal. But now the way it is written informal. Okay. So your.
So sir, is it informal statement?
हाँ, कौन बोल रहा है? समीर.
This Samir sir. Yeah.
हाँ बोलो.
Is it an informal statement?
हाँ, informal है ना? You think it is formal?
How, sir?
Because of the way.
Yeah.
Because of the way it is written, more than 90% are directly under state government. So the sentence is trying to bring your attention to what? More than 90%, that means most, and directly under state government. Just like that small finance banks, particularly in rural areas. Okay, but that statement, particularly in rural areas, was a formal statement. The tone, the way in which it was written was formal. But this is informal. More than 90%. Directly under state government is not making it informal. More than 90% is making it informal. Because if you compare it with the first PM 2.5 wala statement, na? Look at the way in which fact is written in the PM statement.
Okay, so say if it is written like in India, 92% of teacher education institution are directly under state government.
Then formal
it
statement.
would be
Yes, formal statement.
formal.
I'm not saying correct, but then it's a formal way of writing.
Sir, the adjectives are making them formal and informal, right?
Yes. The adjectives, the adverbs, the way in which it is written, the styling of the sentence is making the tone. The tone is informal.
Sir, had it been most of the teacher in Indian educational institution are directly under the state government.
Informal. Most informal ho gaya na?
More number means.
The state governments control, the state governments have this kind of institutions under their control is formal. When you are saying more number of, firstly, is type ka statement aayega nahi, because more number doesn't make any comparative difference. More number means what?
Since we have more educational institution at the state level, few union level institutions, because state level we have more schools, state level colleges.
So give me a complete statement. Give me a complete statement.
This is what struck my mind.
State governments.
Its question is informal, but the statement might be correct.
Yes, वो तो मैं बोल ही रहा हूँ ना. Formal, informal doesn't determine the correctness of the statement. It is just our lessons that we have seen that in more number of cases, formal statements have found to be correct. In more number of cases, informal statements have been found to be incorrect. But it is not every time, and I always tell you, every question is unique. Every question will have its own special thing. Okay, so these techniques, what we are discussing, are experiences and guidelines. Yes, they help us in being assured that yes, okay, these things can be incorrect. So let me first see what is making it incorrect. They will tell you, because these are incorrect, let me see what is making it incorrect. But it is incorrect, वो नहीं होगा, ऐसे नहीं करना है. And the statement that you were saying, that more number of institutions are there in state government, isko thoda rephrase. If UPSC makes this statement, it will be written something like, the state governments have more educational institutions compared to the central government.
It's a formal statement
then formal, yes. It's the way in which things are written. What you said, more number of, that is not the right way of saying. UPSC will not write it like that in the exam. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Ashutosh.
Sir, in that 13th Finance Commission question, the second statement about creation of lakhs of jobs in the next.
Yes.
Informal.
That is informal.
That is, it's like a political party manifesto. Lakhs of jobs.
Yes, it feels like promise of some political leader. Ki you give me 2024 elections ka, vote, and in 2025 I'm going to, make your gaon into New York. ऐसे promise करते हैं ना? And then when 2024 comes, they'll say, okay, let me take it 3 years more ahead, 5 years ahead, the target. So the thing is, चाय की टपरी जैसा जो discussions, loose discussions are informal. This will come with practice. I can't explain it in words. Okay. And something which is very formal, something that can be written in your books, actually reports, when you are addressing a crowd, addressing a gathering, addressing, for formal situation, like an officer. If you are speaking in the position of an officer, you will say things only formally. You will not say things loosely. Abhishek. Mike.
Sir, I have a doubt in another question, sir.
हाँ बोलो.
The chemical weapons one, sir. The first day it was on second
OPCW.
gen, sir.
हाँ ठीक है.
Second gen, sir.
Guys, if anybody wants to leave the class, you may. There's no, foundation of you have to attend the whole thing only. Yeah.
Sir, in the solution video, sir, you said that like NATO is a military organization. Why would he it want to ban the weapons? But if NATO is removed, sir, and only WHO is there in the
You
option,
remove NATO,
would it be
then
that
still
easy?
easy. देखो लाइफ में easy कुछ नहीं होता है. easy का जाना ही नहीं
Yes,
है.
sir.
रीजन पे जाना है.
Yes,
ठीक
sir.
है. हार्ड इजी मत सोचो तुम. हार्ड
Yes,
इजी आर
yes,
जस्ट
sir.
मेंटल ब्लॉक्स.
Yes, sir.
सो नेटो भी हटा दो यार. वर्ल्ड हेल्थ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. हाउ इज
Yes,
इट
sir.
रिलेटेड? इज द नेम OPCW narrow or wide? You tell me that. OPCW is narrow or wide?
Wide.
How is it wide? It's only talking about chemical
yes,
weapons.
sir. Means in case of chemical weapons, it is wide, sir. Means
Yes.
like it will do.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yes,
But
yes,
in the case, in the whole domain of तुम health versus chemical weapons.
Yes,
Health
sir.
versus chemical weapons. What is narrow? What is wide?
Both are means different. Like chemical weapons.
Health is a very wide
different
thing, na?
health.
Health
Yes,
is a
sir.
very wide thing.
Yes, sir.
Diseases, vaccines,
Mhm.
even poverty is related and all. Health is a very wide thing.
Yes, sir.
Chemical weapons, very specific kind of weapons. तो
Yes,
match
sir.
ही नहीं है ना. It's not related. WHO
Yes,
is not
sir.
related to chemical weapons.
Okay. Sir, I got confused with like in this COVID background, sir. I thought like if some country develops like weapons like this biological
COVID.
means it is yes, sir.
तो
Like if some
अगर
weapon is
चाइना ने डेवलप किया है तो ऐसा लग रहा है वो वेपन चाइना में ही ब्लास्ट हो गया है.
yes, sir, and then
It
there will
feels
be
like that.
intervention of WHO, no, sir.
देखो,
In that
if
case, sir.
what you are doing here is you are expanding the scope of the question. It will be decided by the language of the question. Okay.
Yes,
If the
sir.
question said which of the following organizations can be associated with dealing with chemical weapons threats, World Health Organization, okay. What is the problem?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. It is talking about working in relation.
Yes,
Yes,
it is talking about normal relation, regular in the normal sense. Will WHO be there? Very difficult. See, elimination is always risk. Elimination, solving a question via elimination is always risk. You can go wrong, but it is just about taking a calculated risk यार कि ज्यादा chance correct होने का है या incorrect का है. That's all. गलत हो गया तो हो गया यार, कुछ नहीं कर सकते. मैंने बोला है 20-25% question गलत होंगे तुम्हारे एग्जाम में.
Yes, sir. Working relation was the clue, sir. Means it is working in sync, sir. Yes, sir.
If it stopped at it is an organization of European Union, then okay, then correct. Because unknown है तो कोई reason नहीं है. European Union का हो सकता है ना यार, क्या दिक्कत है? The problem is of NATO and WHO.
Yes, sir. Sir, another, sir, the digital India one, sir. With the data centers, the option with the data centers, sir.
Digital India एक बार हाँ ठीक है आ गया. हाँ data बोलो. Data centers.
Yes, sir. Means I connected like data is connected to digital, right, sir? Means data will somehow. Yes.
Right. Right.
And in that sense, I made the mistake, sir. That if the plan is for digital India, the government would want that the data should be in with India.
If the plan is digital India, data, the term data is connected with digital, but is it connected with digital India?
Yeah. If you see, there is no, sir.
That's it. Then you have your answer.
Yes, sir.
This is a very narrow thing, na? Data centers. Data centers establish कर दिया तो India कैसे digitalize हो जाएगा? By when you hear the term digital India means you are digitalizing the lives of your people, na? So that they have happier, they lead happier lives, better lives. So just getting data centers, huh?
Yes, sir. It is more ahead in the chain. Means digital India is more ahead in the chain, and we are talking about like establishing.
It's wider. Digital India is wider.
Yes, sir.
The big data is narrow.
Yes, sir.
It must match. it must match the scope, the range of the name must match the scope and range of the statements.
Had it been means added like and process the data for the benefit or something like that, then it could have been correct.
If it said the big data centers get these datas which will eventually be used in processing data and delivering better services, then correct.
Then there could have been the problem.
Then range में आ रहा है ना.
Yes, sir.
But वो expressly बताएगा तब.
Yes.
नहीं तो normal sense में what is the normal thing that will come to your mind when you hear big data centers? It is just about privacy. It's more about privacy rather than digitalizing India.
Yes, sir.
तो अगर question privacy के बारे में होता, then correct.
Data
Or otherwise,
protection.
the name of the scheme will be something related to privacy and protection and data and something. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And this is why look at the range and scope of the third statement. It's so wide, and the second and the third statement are not going together. वो जेल करना चाहिए ना आंसर में होने के लिए.
Yes.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
हाँ अभिमन्यु बोलो.
Sir, yesterday the question was shared. It was regarding some species of turtles are herbivorous, viviparous.
हाँ ठीक है.
Sir, इस question में I don't know the meaning of viviparous.
कोई बात नहीं.
I was attempting an exam.
कोई बात नहीं.
So how can I?
Some species of turtles can even fly यार. वो ये बोल देगा ना some species can fly तो fly यार.
Apart from some keyword, there is
no other reason to mark it as correct other than some, because if you remove some, then you have to be an expert to say that they cannot be viviparous. You are not an expert. बात खत्म हुई. Some बोल दिया तो बस तुम्हारा उद्धार हो गया.
And so the very fact that even 50 to 60% of the oceans are unexplored,
yes,
how can you say that some species of snake will not be viviparous?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know the meaning of viviparous.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't
that
matter.
is the whole beauty of this thing. अगर viviparous का पता ही हो तो फिर तो तुम knowledge से solve कर रहे हो. पता है तो बहुत अच्छी बात है. नहीं पता है तो डरना नहीं है. That is the point. You have to stress on the right things, not on telescope in the second statement of ice cube, and not on viviparous in this sum.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Even if we knew the meanings, then also there will be the doubt. Like, do those snakes exist there?
In fact, this causes knowledge in such questions doubt. Causes overthinking. Yes, you are right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Knowledge से ऐसे questions को करोगे ना, overthinking में फंस के मरोगे फिर तुम.
Yes, sir. I solved this yesterday, sir, but I didn't look for the meaning. But after solving the question, I looked for the meaning. Then I got confused that reptiles lay eggs. Reptiles lay eggs, sir. And then I was like, reptiles lay eggs. How can they means
नहीं बिल्कुल
give birth to babies?
सही. You have done right. The thing is, guys, this question was asked in some year. In that year, it was framed in this manner. Okay, particularly it was framed in this manner because UPSC knew that most students are not going to know the meaning of the term viviparous. What things are you going to know? The things which are there in your NCRTs, nitrogen fixation, ammonia, urea, this, that, right? The things which are there in your NCRTs, you are supposed to know. UPSC has every right to ask a knowledge-based question about the things, concepts mentioned in your NCRTs. Okay. Firstly, so you must be clear with those. Secondly, you must be clear with everything that is given in your PYQs. So if now you know about ice cube, you see a video on YouTube on ice cube, you see a video on neutrinos, you see a video on dark energy, dark matter. That is how you have to expand your knowledge. One step at a time. You don't have to go too deep, but at least these terms you should now be clear. You have seen viviparous. Now you should go and see on YouTube, watch a video. What is viviparous? That's all. Only what is viviparous and some examples. Next time when UPSC gives a question on viviparous, it could be very much a one statement question. Which of the following are viviparous? A, B, C, D. And this will depend on your knowledge of viviparous. इसको नहीं हाथ लगा पाओगे नहीं तो. And UPSC has a right now to ask a one statement question on viviparous. So you do your homework. Yeah. अरे सांप घुस गया क्या ग्रुप में? इतना सन्नाटा हो गया. नो मोर डाउट. विविपैरस सांप घुस गया क्या?
The question you said yesterday were those were also elimination, but were much easier than what you used to send on the regular day.
Yes, yes, yes. The more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. Easy question दूंगा तो the issue is if too many easy questions are given in sequence, students tend to crystallize things into rules. I need to keep breaking the assumptions, and that is why I have to give difficult questions. अगर मैं वो break नहीं करूंगा, वो doubt नहीं लेके आऊंगा, you will not work hard. That is the problem. वो फिर formula and templates में चलने लग जाता है काम. वो
तो
नहीं
सर
करना.
अब आगे अब क्या मतलब सर कैसे प्रोसीड करें? फिर वही सिचुएशन में आ रहे हैं सर, डिलेमा में कि टाइम जा रहा है, कुछ हो नहीं पाएगा. तो
नहीं
नाउ हाउ
कैसे?
हेड्स अप की प्लान.
Are you not able to solve the questions with more confidence now? These kind of questions.
No, sir. I'm not talking about the technique. How should I plan my journey now ahead? Means building up
That's
this.
a different thing. We'll first wrap up this class and then we'll talk about how to. That's a mentorship thing that you are asking. How to study for prelims now. Yes, Aarti.
So can we try this 2022 questions Vietnam one? Page number 56 in the
Aarti,
PDF.
उसको अभी नहीं हाथ लगाएंगे. Let me first. I will give you every relevant question myself. Okay. I want to tell you something. I have thought of a sequence of giving you exposure to these things. We'll do everything. Don't worry. I will probably give it as a live question only, practice question only in some time. Just allow me some time.
Okay.
So there is one question जैसे आपने वो अभी drones वाला पूछा ना? I couldn't find it. I tried looking for it. Science and tech का ये शायद that this technology.
Give me a keyword. Any keyword from the question.
This technology in the present time can be used for which of the following? And उसमें क्या था? There were 3 statements. One option was कि space में भी plants उगा सकते हैं ऐसा करके. And वो statement गलत था. वो statement गलत था उसी logic से जो हमने drones का question solve किया. वो थोड़ा backfire कर सकता था उसमें.
So you want to discuss that question? 1 second. I think it was astronauts mentioned था क्या उस question में? Was astronauts mentioned?
Sir, मुझे China याद आ रहा है. I can't remember astronauts. If I find it, I will share it with you on your.
So you send. It'll take some time then to we don't have anything concrete about any word about that question that we can find. So अभी नहीं ढूंढ पाएंगे उसको. Let me just search astronauts एक बार. Astronauts.
Maybe astronauts था. I'm not very clear.
Space भी था, but space is very wide term, so many questions will come up with space. एक second. We will find the question. ऐसे तो बात नहीं है, but photosynthesis in space. I think I've got the question. Okay, so this is I want you to solve the question. I'll give it as a practice question. I've got the question. I'll give it as a practice question. Okay. नहीं तो फिर अभी ये क्लास और आधा घंटा एक्सटेंड हो जाएगी. What? Mike.
Sorry. तो वो क्वेश्चन पहले I had solved and उससे I had learned the logic कि नहीं present पे ध्यान देना है. फिर वो present वाला ध्यान या whale वाले क्वेश्चन में लगाया तो यहाँ गलत हो गया. So that if you can discuss it sometime in the future.
What we'll do is, and this is what I intend to offer to you guys and ask for your approval if you think it that way. The practice questions I'll give every day 2 practice questions in the morning time. Okay, and then in the evening we'll have a live class for the solutions of those questions. In the live class, I will first tell the solution of the question and then stop, like, you know, so that quickly if somebody wants to just see the solution of those questions and not the doubts of the other students, they can first watch the 5-7 minutes of the video, so they'll be getting the live solution of that those two questions, and then we can have even a live discussion of those two questions also. So that will be like it will not be then anymore like, you know, the videos which I'm giving you, those marking and those kind of videos, but it will be more of these kind of videos. If you agree.
The timing because I have
timing
classes in the
sham
evening
ko probably 7 o'clock. We can maybe do it at 7 to 7:30, something like that.
So I have classes till 8:30, so maybe I'll watch the recorded.
Recording will anyways be given. The difference is that in the videos which I am giving you nowadays, you get to see the whole question and the markings and everything. But in these kind of videos, you will not get to see the question. You'll have to keep it referring to the. You'll have to keep audio playing in your head, in your ears, and you know, see the question like that. You'll have to manage. If that is okay, but the advantage is it gives you the opportunity to come live and ask doubts about those two very questions. And then Sunday doubt session, of course, these will continue. No other change will be there. Should we do it this way?
These live sessions will be recorded, right?
अरे वो तो सब recorded ही होगा. Till 28th May, you will have access to all the recordings. Everything is recorded, but the access is restricted till 28th May. That's all. Okay. So should we do it this way? Then 7 o'clock in the evening, we'll have this kind of class for the solutions.
So later possible hai kya? Or raat mein? Just asking.
Then it could be maybe 10 o'clock.
That actually works well for me, but I don't know other people.
I'll put a poll in the group. Okay. The maximum time, whatever people are comfortable with, we'll go with that time then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, even with this daily live discussion, sir, this one will be there, right? After the weekly one, like we
weekly
discussed.
Rahega, yaar. Weekly rahega.
Yes,
I'm just giving you more. I'm not taking away anything.
Okay, sir. Yes,
The
sir.
thing
Because
is,
I work in shift, sir. So,
yeah, we will have even extra classes if it is needed sometime. We will have extra classes also. You just do your bit. Whatever is needed from my side, you message me. If extra classes are needed for, you know, people who are not able to attend live sessions or something, we'll have some extra sessions also. Like, no issues with that.
Thank you, sir.
Also coaching से थोड़ा exploit होने के बाद पूछना तो पड़ता है. You have to reconfirm कि जो extra ले रहे हो तो जो already हो ले तो नहीं रहे हो.
हाँ नहीं बहुत सही है. But the whole thing is कि any kind of support, I'm not restricting myself to just what has been promised in the, you know, when you purchase the course. That is the minimum that will be given. Over and above that is like time availability and, you know, the need that is there, depending on that. But I will do my best to serve every need that is there in this course. I have very high hopes from you all, very high hopes from this course. Yes, it requires a lot of practice, interaction, and, you know, analysis. But if you do that, I am assuring you, you will get results which you have never believed you will have in prelims. Okay.
Thank you,
sir. Also, this is just my opinion, sir. Like the weekly one, if we are discussing all the doubts at the end of the week, and if everyone is able to attend, we will be able to learn from other
things.
Aisa,
what we can do is, the advantage with the. Let me just stop the recording of this part. Okay, it is, I think, just wasting time. Whoever will watch this recording later. Waste.